Hello there. It's time for most things Kenobi. I prefer all things Kenobi, but I suppose that's not the Jedi way. As long as it's not all things Anakin.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Most Things Kenobi, a podcast about Obi-Wan Kenobi and all things Star Wars. I'm your host, Lauren.
And I'm your host, Leanne.
And this week we are talking about Andor Season 2, the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of awesome. And I'm glad we didn't record something immediately because now there's also been like an inside look and a live Q&A. Yes. So we have lots to talk about here.
Yes. In fact, I was not able to watch the live Q&A because work. So I'm going to come with questions and I can just ask you as if I'm the general audience and you tell me what the hell's going on. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Excellent.
There weren't really any like huge revelations in the Q&A. It was Tony Gilroy and then they had on Genevieve O'Reilly and Adria. Oh my God, I can't remember Bix's actress's last name. Bix. Mm-hmm. And then the guy who played Melshi also. It was cool because it wasn't the actors I necessarily thought it was going to be. So it was kind of cool, like especially to have Melshi, that actor got to come back to his character after like he had such a tiny part in Rogue One. And I love that they chose to bring him back. So yeah, it was cool to see him on the Q&A today.
I'm all for it. It's what was discussed. I know we're going to talk about the trailer, but this is basically an Andor Season 2 free-for-all episode, I guess, because we have a lot of things thrown at us.
Yeah.
Andor-wise.
It's all coming at the same time.
So what was the general gist of the live Q&A?
So it was mostly kind of recapping Season 1 because they can't really talk about almost anything for Season 2.
Right.
And they showed a few scenes from each actor, like one or two scenes that each of the actors had portrayed, and then they talked over them and like talked about them and what was going on behind the scenes or like why those scenes were particularly important and just some of their experiences on Season 1, but also a bit of Season 2. But again, like, they can't say much. So It sounds like it's going to be devastating for anyone who loves Bix.
Oh, I don't. So it's not devastating for me at all.
Yeah, it sounds like she and Cassian are going to be in a relationship, which I'm not a huge fan of because I don't think he's good enough for her. He's kind of just and I think she'd be better off with Brasso, but either way.
Well, not only that, but I feel like it's a little bit quick between his relationship with her to his feelings that he develops for Jyn.
Yeah, and I'm almost wondering if they're going to try and make a statement that was not any kind of romantic thing, even though from what I understand, the original the writing for Rogue One did have the characters fall in love, and they cut that out in the editing process, which I do think made the movie stronger, but
I do too.
Chemistry is still there between the characters and the actors, so
it's almost like trauma bonding.
Yeah.
Because of the shit that they're literally going through.
For sure.
And they have a giant respect for each other, so I'm fine either way on whatever their verdict is for Cassian and Jyn, but I love them and I will always ship them together and I will never support Bix. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. I think the actress is really talented, and I do like Bix's arc in Season 1. It'll be interesting to see what happens to her in Season 2. Obviously, I mean, we can pretty much be sure she doesn't live, right? Like,
nope, she's out. She doesn't make the cut.
And there's interesting stuff in the trailer that I see like mirrors of Rogue One in it. They were talking about that for Season 1 as well. Like the scene where Cassian and Melshi are on the beach and they're saying goodbye to each other. Tony Gilroy said, I didn't write that scene as a mirror to Rogue One, but basically the director and the cinematographer chose to make it mimic the end of Rogue One. He said they even put the horizon in the exact same spot that it is in Rogue One.
Oh.
The thing I just love about this show, which we've talked about, is the care that they take.
Yeah. They're thoughtful with just about every single element in that show.
It's so deliberate. Everything is deliberate.
I really love shows that do that. I really do. And every single Star Wars fan I know is more psyched for Andor season 2 than like any show prior, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's also one of the shows I've seen talked a lot. I think Acolyte was probably on the most, but Andor seems to really split people. Like, people either love it or they just don't. And
Well, you could say that about The Mandalorian, too. You could say that about Kenobi. You could say that...
I don't know. I feel like I'm the only person I know who doesn't like The Mandalorian.
No, there are people. There are people who are like...
Are there? Are there more than just me?
There are. Of the people that I know that don't like Mandalorian, it's because they're trying to tie it to too many things. Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Luke, original trilogy, this, that, the other. Andor's very, very its own thing.
Yeah, it really could stand alone outside of Star Wars, I think. It's just so beautifully constructed. And that was the thing, too, that I took away from the Q&A. All the actors were visibly, emotionally excited to have had the chance to act that script specifically. They said,
awesome.
Like Tony Gilroy as a writer creates characters that are super intense and fun, even though sometimes sad for the actors to portray. And Genevieve was saying that acting Mon Mothma was like, she said it's very painful, beautiful, and she said it was absolutely like a gift to get to do season 2. Because she said we have to get from where we see her in season 1 to how we see her in Rogue One, where she's basically an outlaw.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
Well, and I think, in the trailer, there's the moment where she's very dressed up and there's a party. Clearly, is that her daughter's wedding?
That seems to be what the masses are saying, that it's a Chandrillan wedding. So it would be her daughter's ceremony, which, that husband is somewhere lurking being a complete, total
Well, and her daughter was kind of a pill also.
Well, But I wonder if it's her husband, Mon Mothma's husband, that ends up connecting her to ISB and what comes later on.
I wonder this too, because obviously her family is not part of the rest of her story. We never have heard of them before Andor. And even Genevieve was saying, like, it was actually kind of a wonderful surprise to realize she had a family, even though they were not a happy family. Does she have to go on the run and abandon them, and it's not that big of a sacrifice because they seem to hate her anyway? Or are they the ones who turn against her and turn her in? It'll be very interesting and probably devastating to watch it all unfold. Mm-hmm. There seem to be moments here, too, in the trailer where you see Cassian really dressed up.
Yeah. There's a lot of cloak action in this trailer.
It's beautiful. I wonder if that is the wedding sequence or not, because...
Oh, maybe.
There's moments where Krennic is clearly meeting Mon Mothma, because in the background is the father of the boy that wants to marry Mon Mothma's daughter. And then there's clearly an ISB officer behind them. So I'm like, wait a minute. Like, Krennic is not ISB. He's a science officer.
No, but there's something there.
Why are they all in the same room? I don't know.
Don't forget, there's a money element involved here. Because that ties Mon Mothma to, what's his name? Who's leading the rebels here?
Oh, Luthen?
Luthen. I can never remember. He's my favorite character, and I can never remember his name. Skarsgård. That's all that pops into my head.
Yes.
But like, Luthen's not going to make it out of this season. We know.
No.
And that's going to be probably the most devastating part of this for me. Like, how he goes out, it's got to be with, oh my God, it's got to be with respect and dignity or sacrifice. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Because he's a no-nonsense, no I will kill myself today to save you tomorrow type of dude. He's already settled on the fact that I'll never get to see the fruits of my labor, but he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I love characters like that.
I know, he's clearly lost a lot, but is beyond the grieving part of it. Like, he's fully committed.
He's turned bitter and stone cold.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what it takes to lead a group like this under these circumstances, is someone who can be detached. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who can do what needs to be done and have that detachment from attachment. From caring about the cause, not necessarily the individuals involved in the cause. You got to be detached and a little bit cold.
Yeah.
To allow that to happen,
For
unfortunately.
Sure. They said we'll get more of his backstory in season 2.
Oh.
Tony Gilroy was saying that Luthen's history started to reveal itself to him as he was writing season 2. So even he wasn't quite sure, and now made this
that's exciting
new story to go with Luthen. So I'll be very interested to see how does, like, was the antique dealer a specific front he created, or was he that already became radicalized somehow
and had to maintain the facade,
and
continue with the antiques despite yeah, it could be either way.
And, like, how does an antiques dealer overlap with Saw Gerrera? I'm really interested to see more about them, because I loved their interactions in season 1.
Well, obviously the trailer has the Gorman massacre.
Yes, right? It looks like it.
Yeah. Looks like it. Okay, yeah, I should say that. It looks like it's being talked about as possibly being the Gorman massacre. But if you look out, so we have that shot of the dead person on the ground, or who looks to be dead, and then there's a bunch of ships. There's an X-Wing.
Yeah.
The middle ship is Zygerian.
It looks like what Maul was flying around in, right?
That too, yeah. So, like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Who else is collecting stuff?
It really does look like the Zygerian ship. You're right. I'm mixing up the ship that Maul
the one
had.
that Anakin had, the guy with the saber up to his neck. I love that. That ship. or some type of version of that ship.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. What's that? What's that about?
I was wondering, is that Saw Gerrera's hideaway? Because it kind of reminded me of what they described in the book Rebel Rising as, like, Saw's secret lair.
That's true. Oh my God, I didn't think of that. Perhaps. Then Jyn is there. Is she not?
She shouldn't be at this point in the timeline, though. And maybe he's already moved on from that base at this point in the timeline as well. But
because he's got his breathing apparatus, which means the accident already happened from Rebel Rising, which means she has been abandoned. God bless her. I wish we could see Felicity in this show.
I am holding out hope that we will see her somehow, because remember last year, it was years ago now, when season 1 came out and they put out a trailer, almost all of what we saw was just in the first story arc, maybe the first 2. So there seems to be quite a lot in here, but if you look at it, which I have, second by second, it's actually a lot of the same stuff, but from different angles. You'll realize it's the same building they're in, the same field, whatever, because there's that whole sequence that looks like they're in a wheat field.
Oh, yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting parallel to the beginning of Rogue One, where Jin's family was. They were in green wheat, it looked like.
Right. Well, also, it appears as though Brasso's having problems.
Yeah, so it looks like Brasso, the boy, who I can't remember his father's name, but remember the guy who was killed by the ISB in season 1. Before they took Bix. He's the one who makes the bomb that he throws at the end of season 1. So it's Brasso, that boy, Bix, and Cassian are all at that location with the wheat field. But there's also stormtroopers there, and then a TIE fighter or something similar to that.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like a lot going on.
I get Lothal vibes. And,
yes, I did too.
So isn't there mention of Ezra? That Ezra Bridger's speech has given them the ability to... That is in this trailer, is it not? Don't they say that?
Oh, I don't know.
They say because of Ezra Bridger's speech, we can now blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, holy f***.
I didn't catch that. If that's in there, I didn't hear it. I guess it makes sense that they're working at the same timeline, right? And basically Luthen is kind of trying to combine all these small rebellions into one alliance, right? That's kind of like what he's working towards, which is why he's reaching out to Saw. So there's some sequences in here where it looks like they're actually attacking the ISB building or something.
I'm all for.
On Coruscant. Yeah.
I mean, Deidre looks real stressed in this trailer.
She does.
In the list of people who are having a bad day in the trailer, we have Brasso and Deidre, and quite possibly Cyril. He doesn't look like he's having a good day, but he never does, so I don't know if we can call it that. But you know who is having a good day in the trailer? Cyril's mother.
I was going to say, she looks real happy.
She looks real happy, so maybe she got a new apartment after all. She got herself an upgrade. She upgraded. Her son got a job.
Looks real happy.
Tell me.
It's Krennic.
Yes, bitch, I was waiting for you to drop the name. Krennic is looking every bit of Krennic. He's smug. He's smirking. He's self-righteous. He's got the cape. He's got that sassy smile going on. Like, I got things going on in my life and nobody else does. But he hasn't talked back to Vader yet. So keep smiling, Krennic. I am so excited for Ben Mendelsohn to be back in this role. He looks fantastic in like the 5 seconds that we got him. I have no doubt he will bust it out. I have no doubt he will knock it out of the park.
It's gonna be amazing. Krennic is such a
God.
He's such a special character in Star Wars,
really
and probably because Ben Mendelsohn made him so.
Yes.
He's like borderline petulant sometimes. You're just like, who talks like this? But he does.
Yes. You know who would have gotten along with him had they ever met? Well, okay, Anakin. Like, Jedi Anakin would have gotten along with Krennic, not Imperial Krennic. So, like, yes, Krennic knows Vader, blah, blah, blah. But, like, Jedi Anakin at his height could quite possibly either have butted heads with him because of two egos, two power trips, or they'd have been like in the corner snickering. I don't know. I have a headcanon developing. I need to polish it. But
well, then I wonder too, though, because Anakin and Tarkin definitely fangirled over each other.
Yep. So there was something there.
Since Tarkin and Krennic hate each other so much.
Yes. I think a Big Brother house with all these people in it should happen. Not to get off topic, but I think they would do really well in a Big Brother house. For those of you who don't know about Big Brother, it's a show where they cram a bunch of people in close quarters and drama starts
and they film everything.
Yep. Just that's the show.
Do they still do that? Is that show
I think they do. I think they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
I want Pendergast to be in that Big Brother house because I really like that guy.
I could see that too.
He's one of my favorite Imperials ever. Just like when Deidre makes some accusation and he just says, "Thesis, please." Like,
yeah,
I just
exactly.
love that guy.
What did you think of the white suited stormtroopers without helmets? Like, what's going on in the hallway there?
Yes.
In the trailer.
Okay, I have a theory, and it's based on nothing. It was just like an instinct. Is it like ISB enforcers?
Could be. That's a
like
decent
a
theory.
Secret police type thing, because they are wearing like the typical. Some of them have stormtroopers. Some of them have infantry uniform chest plates, but they're all painted white. But then they don't have helmets. They don't even have the full armor because you can see like their belt is not connected to their armor. It's odd.
And the one guy in the back has a white compression suit underneath where the rest of them they all have black or they usually have black. The one in the back has white.
And one had a cap, like a lieutenant or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what that's all about. But, I mean, maybe they're rebels trying to sneak in somewhere and they don't have the full uniform.
Or there could be that. It could be anything because I didn't recognize anybody in that shot.
Yeah, me either.
So it intrigued me. I don't know.
Yeah, I wondered too. I had the same question because they all look very severe.
They very do, and they're very serious. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get Yavin 4, and I'm here for Yavin 4.
No.
I just am
How
so happy
weird.
to see it. It is really weird, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so there's a real possibility of Leia or
Yes.
Bail Organa or Hera Syndulla. Like,
Yes.
there's a real possibility we're going to get some overlap because we know Chopper was there in Rogue One. We know Hera was there in Rogue One.
Yep.
So,
Yes. Yep.
yeah.
I'm so excited.
Very
Even if they don't show it, I'm just happy that, our original trilogy planet is back and better than ever,
Yeah. Yeah, that shot of Cassian just like strutting through Yavin 4. I'm like,
Right?
I'm here for this. Yes.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
He's doing a lot of strutting in this trailer.
Yes,
He's a man on a mission.
Nothing but shots of him walking with purpose.
Yes.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think any of these women that we see who aren't Bix are any of them his sister?
Oh, I didn't think of that. I didn't even consider that. I completely forgot about his sister. They could be.
I do too.
They could be.
Because there's a shot of him walking away with somebody I don't recognize and they blow up. They use like a trigger remote to blow something up in the background.
Yeah.
And then there's another shot of him. They're in some windows face to face and she grabs him by the lapels and like pulls him like she's angry. And I don't recognize that woman. It could be the same one from the previous shot that I didn't recognize, or they could
Right,
be
but
different women.
We don't know who any of them are anyway, so
Yeah.
that would be cool.
I'm assuming they're gonna bring that plot line in. I mean, it's the whole thing that started his journey. Although it could be a MacGuffin. It could be like a total... Although, speaking of MacGuffin...
Yes.
Tony Gilroy did say that the Star Path unit is the official MacGuffin of the whole show. And he's like, it's gonna be part of the show to the very end. It's gonna be the thing that, like, I assume Deidre is using to basically track all the rebels down. I don't know.
Oh my God.
And like a MacGuffin, for those who don't know, is like an important plot piece that's not actually important. Mm-hmm. It's the thing that will never really need it or use it, but it pushes the plot forward. It's like
I didn't even think of that.
It's kind of interesting. It's like the thing that started the Empire
That's
on
true.
Cassian's trail. I mean, he killed those officers, but they might not have connected it until they saw the Star Path unit. That's when they realized it was part of like a bigger...
Yeah. I wonder, what if it leads to Luthen's death? Do you think it would?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know that would be so bad. That would be the devastation that would kill me. Yes, that's what we need. Yep. Yes.
You're here for that heartbreak.
Well, I'm just thinking, what's the most painful route? Yes, that's it. That'll be what it's for. Because, Star Wars is pain, and Andor is, like, the most painful.
Because it feels so real. I feel like the other shows are a bit glossy, so when people die, it's sad or whatever. Like, even in the original trilogies, it's sad, but they do it in a way where, we don't cry over Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. We breeze by it like it's no big deal. But in Andor, everything feels very real and like it could happen, even though it's in Star Wars, but it's just a real... I don't know, these people are very real. They're so well-rounded as characters.
The stakes are so high. There's a moment of vulnerability where you're not quite the rebellion yet, but you're tiny little factions that are disorganized and you could be found at any moment. One slip up and it's done. You compromise the whole thing. They're in that vulnerable moment where it's not good versus bad yet. It's good is intermingling with bad. Nobody quite knows who's in on it yet, and they're figuring it out. And it's this... That's why every moment, every decision they make in these 2 seasons means such a tremendous amount, because it all leads to Leia getting that Death Star plan.
Yeah.
That's when the tables really turn. And so much loss of life leading up to that moment. It's amazing. But I think we're in it this season. Like, this is the double down. Everyone's gritty, getting in it. You know, either you're committed or you're out, that sort of thing. Because the time to choose a side is right now or very soon. And I think they drove that home in season 1, especially when Luthen was talking to Cassian before he even left his mom and made the decision. Like, he was going to help Luthen with the one thing. He was only going to help him with the one task. And that was it, right?
For money. Like, that's all he cared about.
And, like, this has become so much bigger. And now everyone's realizing it's becoming big. And then we've got all these little factions that are eventually going to come together, quite possibly on Yavin 4 in this season. It's kind of crazy to think about it. Like, this is the dawn of the rebellion. I love this shit. It gives me chills. And we get K2SO. Finally, we're going to get the backstory. We're going to get the meeting that we've all been waiting for.
I'm so excited. I saw a little snippet of them behind the scenes of the actors sitting in a cockpit together laughing. And I was just like, yes!
Oh, good. Yay. That can only mean more backhands, right?
I hope so. When you and I saw Rogue One in the theater, it gave me a new appreciation for Kay and the way his eyes move
his
around.
eyes are, it's because there's white, or there's like, it makes him look like he's not he's not blinking.
Yes.
But he looks so ridiculous. I want a life-size K2SO in my house.
Oh my gosh, they're so big. I saw one at Lucasfilm. They're legit like 8 feet tall.
But I'm down with him just standing in the corner of my kitchen, like giving me those eyes when I want to do the laundry, but I don't. And he just backhands me like, do the laundry, bitch. Like, I would listen to Kay if he did that and he was in my living room, you know?
Oh my God, that's funny.
I'm just excited to see him again. Anything with Kay is wonderful. Honest to God.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. Oh. And there's no B. There's no B2 in the preview.
Oh, I know that. I know. I hope that doesn't mean he's, gone.
I can't.
He might be with Brasso though.
Yeah, I would imagine that Brasso would take care of him. I kind of would really love to see any kind of Marva flashback or like reference to Marva because we got no closure, and we've talked about it in the past how that like Marva dies off screen. Yeah. And it's basically our experience is like Cassian's experience where like you come back to the character and she's dead. What? Like it's basically he went to jail and he gets out and his mother's dead. There's nothing to do about it. It's just done. And
I would love to see Krennic watch her final speech.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
That wrinkle in his forehead would be so deep over that. He'd probably hate her, and that's why I love her.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see Galen Erso since we see Krennic.
Oh, I know. He's fraternizing with all of these people. He's putting on the face of someone who wants to be there.
Right.
We know this.
He lies and makes himself indispensable.
Yeah, he goes to functions. He's invited to the elite, the top of the top functions, and you would think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he gets in there. Even just a reference to him is possible, but if he actually has a scene with Krennic or anything like that, would be interesting to see. Because the Death Star, as we know, has taken a long time to build. So he's already been working on this project a long time.
Well, and Krennic standing there commenting, watching it being assembled or getting towards completion. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's just off screen.
Yeah.
I think they're holding a lot of cards. They're holding a lot of things close to their chest on purpose. And I like that. Remember, for the people who know, when Avengers Endgame came out, the trailer that finally dropped, it was literally all scenes in the trailer were like the first 6 minutes of Endgame. We got nothing outside of the first 6 minutes or whatever arbitrary number it was of Endgame. And I like that because we're getting a sense of what awaits us, but we're not getting everything that when it comes around, we're like, oh, we already saw that,
Yeah. I think you're right. Well, and it would make the most sense also from marketing perspective. And
Yeah, the people behind Andor are smarter than the average bear. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and they know us. They know we will watch the trailer second by second, looking for every detail possible.
Yes.
Yeah, we are a little bit obsessive, so
I don't care. I love this. I'm so excited for this show. I'm
I
so
am
excited
too.
for Krennic and the cape and Cassian's capes.
I'm
and
very
even,
excited for Cassian in Star Wars tuxedo.
Well, you listen. You're gonna be. You need to be resuscitated after every one of these episodes, and I don't know if I can keep up. We're gonna need to get an EKG up in this. You know what else though? I'm excited for the outfits. If that is a Chandrillan wedding, it's gonna be crazy. I want to see Mom Mothma's attire, what they come up with for her. I want to see the nitty gritties, the Brassos, the Bixes, you know, like the blue collar, if you will. I want to see Deidre's, because the one shot of her looking rather strained with her tight ass bun and she's in like a white hallway and stuff. She has like a long trench coat, like white.
Yeah.
Listen, I love, at this point in the game, the Empire's wardrobe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Their entire, like those who get to wear something other than a stormtrooper outfit, they bring it. You know what I'm saying? I prefer their outfits to the Rebels' browns and greens, which, I mean, I get it. They're literally doing patches on their jackets just to keep it together. I respect that. But I love a good white cape. I love a good white trench coat. I love a white over, like the one piece. But Cyril is in all black, so he's obviously been promoted.
Yeah, and he's got that weird tie.
Yeah. What is
I hate that?
At least it's not a bolo tie.
No. It does look like a handle to a suitcase, though. Like, I'm not a fan, but it suits him really well. So I'm not a fan of the style, but I think it's a really great design.
It's
and
true.
Actually, Tony Gilroy was talking about, I think, is his name Michael Wilkinson, the guy who did the costumes in the Q&A today. He said he wanted to call him out specifically and praise him because for the party scene, which he would not call a wedding,
right?
He's very careful to not call it anything.
Of course.
He said each person was in couture, and then they would need Ferrix, gritty, and he's like, the same man designed them, and then he would have to deliver them to set. There's so much more to it than just designing, and then dress everybody and do it like back to back on like Wednesday, Thursday. They would have opposite kinds of costumes, and he would come in and costume 1,000 people, and it would be incredible. Yeah. I mean, everyone on this show is clearly like the top of the line at whatever they're doing. It's amazing.
I love it so much. I'm just scrolling, just clicking through the trailer on mute, and every shot, it's just so intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's blowing up. People are getting grabbed and tossed and shaken and thrown, and they're screaming, and they're they got the riot shields and shit. Like there's man, this is gonna be so good.
Well, is there anything specific you're really hoping for or that you would predict coming?
I'm hoping for Jyn. Any reference, mention, a sight of Felicity Jones, anything, please.
Me too.
I would take Galen too.
I'd rather have Jyn than like any Rebels reference, personally.
100%. Me too. Because she's crucial to this. This is not a Rebels tie-in or offshoot. This is a Rogue One. If there's gonna be an appearance that's kept quiet until it happens, it needs to be Jyn. It does.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I love her character. These days, Rogue One, Jyn and Cassian means so much to me. I literally have a wooden sign that I bought off Etsy in my cubicle at work that says rebellions are built on hope. And I look at it every day, and it tells me I have to keep going. So Rogue One is extremely close to me at this point in time. If I were to see Jyn, I would cry. It's like seeing Luke in The Mandalorian. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
It just means that much to me because her character is important to me.
And she's the glue that like solidifies these characters that survive Andor into Rogue One, like Cassian and Melshi and whoever else, she's the reason they finished the mission.
Yes. Right.
So,
She's the reason it's called Rogue One, because they went rogue and took the ship and did it themselves. She's ultimately Krennic's downfall. The thorn in his side. God, I want to be her.
She had a rough life, though.
I respect her for it, though. She did what she had to do to survive, and I think that's a theme in Star Wars.
And ultimately, even though she was cynical and bitter, she didn't fully lose her humanity at all. She liked to pretend that she had, but she hadn't really.
Well, everyone is allowed to be afforded the chance to change, to be inspired by something that changes you for the better. And I think it's a pretty good example of that occurring to see Jyn do it, because there's a lot now, in the past, and I guarantee in the future, that makes people feel bitter and hopeless and it. Why bother? It's not going to make a difference, blah, blah, blah. And then you're inspired, you change, and you do make a difference. That's one of the best themes out there, and one that I need right now. So I think you asked me a question 20 minutes ago, and I don't know if I've answered you.
You have.
I need to shut up, but yeah. What about you? Do you have something you're hoping for, looking forward to, wishing for?
Oh my God, I'm not even sure. Like, yes, all the things we've already mentioned, basically. That's I don't know. I just don't want them to undo anything I love about Rogue One. That's, I think, my bigger concern. Like, I like going into these shows with no expectation. And even though I love Cassian's character and I love Rogue One, I feel like I can let go of my expectations. But I do not want them to anything up that I love about Rogue One. And they kept saying, you'll see Rogue One in a different light. And it's like, I don't really want to. I like Rogue One. It's possibly my favorite Star Wars movie besides Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, we have to just wait. We got to wait and see and cross our fingers and sit there and pant and sweat it out, because they're dropping 3 episodes at a time, right?
Yes. So it comes out April 22nd, and they're doing 3 episodes every week for 4 weeks to cover a 4-year period in Cassian's life. So we've decided we're going to do each week at that time. We won't do the every other week during Andor. We're going to be very tired.
That's okay. We did it for Kenobi. We could do it for Andor.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy even said he feels bad for the podcasters to have to work on that schedule.
How kind of him to take us into consideration. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, he knows we work hard for them. I'm looking forward to it, but we will cover it in as much real time as possible. So
yeah, we'll be back every single week during Andor releases. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, me too. I'm ready. So our question for you all this week: what are you hoping to see in Andor Season 2? Is there any specific character, a specific situation, scenario that you are looking forward to? Tell us, and we will read it on our next episode.
And our next episode is all about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Negotiator. How did he earn this title? What are the moments that we can see and discuss that makes him the Negotiator? I think it's going to be interesting because there are so many moments that we can talk about. Yeah. And it's a unique title. I don't know too many other Star Wars characters, if any, that are known for the things that Obi-Wan Kenobi is known for. And I'm not just talking about his beard. I'm talking about his negotiation skills.
Doesn't he even get a ship named after him because of that?
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We will talk about all this and more on our next episode.
And speaking of ships.
Yeah.
Last week, we did an episode about ships, and I can't even tell you how many people wrote in and said they thought we meant relationships.
Which is hilarious because I'm pretty sure I said twice that we were not talking about relationships. Yeah. So I'm sorry if I wasn't clear enough.
No, I even posted a picture of a ship, a Star Destroyer, and everyone was like, oh, I thought it was about shipping ships. Like, no, just spaceships.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, hopefully they liked the episode anyway.
I actually really enjoyed re-listening to it. It was funny. I laughed out loud. I don't even know how many times. I love how much we made each other laugh in that episode.
Well, we're going to do more episodes, so.
Yes. So we asked, at the end of that episode, we asked, what are some other ships people would like us to dive into?
Yeah.
And Laura said, the High Republic Jedi Vectors, they are attuned to the Force and are powered by lightsabers.
Yes, let's do that one.
That's awesome. Kevin asked, any idea how much a Star Destroyer would cost to build in nonfiction Earth money? And I did actually find an article.
Oh my gosh, what was it? I can't even imagine.
There was a Forbes article that said, quote, a Star Destroyer will cost $636 billion to build.
OMG.
Also, it says it would cost $44.4 trillion to get it off of Earth so it could go to Mars.
So it's never happening, is what you're saying.
It can't get through our atmosphere for real. So yeah, no, it's way too big. But then Ben, our friend Ben, also sent me that he would like us to dive into the Naboo N1 starfighter.
There is a schematic for it. I have it.
Yeah.
That is one we have to. They are so cool how they're designed.
Yeah.
We need to add that to the list. Yes. Thank you, Ben.
They're kind of reminiscent of, if it's the one I'm thinking of, they're kind of reminiscent of like 1950s or even earlier, like the original airplanes that are kind of.
They're like real
the Howard
polished.
Hughes. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm down for that.
I think it's really cool. That's
Put it on the
basis.
list.
So thank you to everyone who wrote in. We really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for joining us here on the Most Things Kenobi podcast. We appreciate every single one of our patrons and are grateful for your support. If you would like to support the podcast and become a patron as well, head over to the Most Things Kenobi Patreon. As always, you can follow us on Tumblr, Instagram, YouTube, and Threads, and don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast player. If you enjoy our podcast, feel free to rate us on Spotify and Apple. And if you need one place to find all of these, head over to mostthingskenobi.com.
So until next time, my space twin, may the Force be with you.
Always.